Welcome to game number 2 of the NorCraft Cup second semi-final. We're spawning in the top right position of Overgrowth, currently 1 game up over his opponent. Representing Carnage Esports and bringing the noise, ladies and gentlemen, it's Eiki. His opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the red Terran player. He plays for TeamLiquid.net and needs to win the next 2 games in a row to find himself in a spot for the finals here at the NorCraft Cup. Can he do it? It's Liquid Bunny. Now that I think about it, Liquid Bunny sounds like... I don't know, I think it could be like a French protein drink. Going to the gym, you need some Liquid Bunny beforehand. That'll sort stuff out. Alright, we've got the barracks coming down now for our Team Liquid player. Barracks before gas, worth noting here. Instantaneous gas as well. So 12 gas, delayed that SCV for a little bit so he can start that refinery. In the meantime, Eiki going to be going for the same anti-reapery setup, leaving his buildings very, very close to the mineral line just to try and block any sort of advances by the Reaper, who may or may not want to be very annoying indeed. Gateway is going to be completing now, and I imagine we'll have the game starting in a very similar fashion to the previous one. There is the barracks completing. And there is 50 gas and the Reaper. So here we go. The probe knows it as well. A little bit of Mortal Kombat going on by the looks of things. Trying to kill off an SCV. Unable to do so just yet. And he is going to be continuing here. I wonder if the probe would survive if he just went back home straight away. I wonder what he's looking for right now. He probably just wants to confirm it's a Reaper. And make sure that it's worth this probe's while. Well, this SCV is going to go down and think about making an expansion. The Reaper is going to come out and definitely chase that probe. So if he wanted to find out, then I think he's going to in about, I'd say 10 seconds time. Oh, is the Reaper going to miss the probe? Yes, he misses. Oh, man, he just misses the probe there. So Eiki, I stand corrected. He waited till the very last second to move that probe out of there, and has now successfully kept it in the middle of the map. So now we have an SCV and a Reaper going to be frantically searching for where the heck that little guy could be. And Eiki, well, he's just constantly moving it up and down the map right now. This is, to be honest, a location that's going to take Terran a very long time to scout, and he can move straight back down the left-hand side at some later date when he wants to put a pylon down. So really, really well played. Now we have the reactor on the first barracks and 2 more coming out now. Still on the 1 gas, but only with 2 workers mining is Bunny. Very, very specific build he's got going here. In the meantime, that anti-Reaper is definitely still in place. The Reaper isn't actually harassing at the moment. He's still desperately trying to find out where the heck the probe is. And I'm afraid he won't be able to do that because it's actually back inside the main base already, but he doesn't know that right now. A Twilight Council going down. This could end up being a 2-base blink all-in from Eiki, and if he is 1-0 up and he wants something really strong to try and beat Bunny in game 2, this could end up being it. No bunker on the low ground yet. There's a lot of area to blink here. You don't have to blink up here and then here. As long as you have that high ground vision, you can go straight into the main base with that mothership core vision or with an observer. The choice is generally yours. Here comes the tech lab for Bunny. He has enough minerals and gas to research whatever he wants. He's actually going for concussive shell first. Alright, so he's not going for a straight stim. He wants that concussive shell. He wants to be able to slow down those gateway units early game, and he wants to make sure that he can kill off as many of them as possible in the event of an early push from Eiki here. He might even move out himself to try and pick off a couple of stalkers or a zealot and a stalker or something like that just by utilizing the Marauder's concussive shell. It obviously means he's going to get a bit of a later stim, but that also means he's not going for a massive stim rush to try and end the game at something like 7 minutes. So interesting developments here. The Twilight Council is complete. Blink is on the way as well. An extra 2 gateways are coming in. We don't have a gateway explosion just yet. Still just a 3 gateways. Nice and chilled out. And we have got a group of Marines and ein Marauder moving around, ready to try and pick off these Stalkers. Now, if the Marauder gets a shot off and these Stalkers are slowed, that could end up being big. Where is the Mothership Core? It is pretty close. Here we go. That's the concussive shell we were talking about. One Stalker goes down. Photon overcharge instantaneously, not even waiting. And I think seeing 3 Stalkers and not any other units, no Zealots, no Sentries, might twig Bunny to the fact that this is just going to be a big, big blink play. 3 additional gateways coming down now. So that leaves us with 4. We've got blink nearly complete. We have the robotics facility completing as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see an immediate observer popping out of that. So just the 4 gateways off of 2 bases. We've got the observer straight away, an instant robo base. So we're going into super quick Colossi from Eiki here. Now back in the main base of Bunny, we have the reactor going down on the factory, the starport coming out now as well. He'll be able to get his first 2 medevacs very, very soon. Stim is now more than halfway complete. Hasn't started combat shields yet on that second tech lab, but probably will shortly. And we've got a warp prism to follow this up as well. This looks like the beginnings of a pretty big push coming out from Eiki. He's killing off this Marine to keep Bunny guessing whether or not he's going to take a third. He could potentially take the third right now. He's sending a probe over there, and I think he's actually going to do it. But bear in mind that, you know, with this number of sentries... Well, no, he could anyway. There goes the Nexus. So he could have invested that all into units, or he could have made a couple more gateways and absolutely gone with it, especially since this warp prism here. But he's going to use this push as an excuse to take his third base and hold it. And to be fair, if his opponent's still only on 2 bases, that could be fine. You can see the bunker being built now by Liquid Bunny, and that's because of what he saw earlier. He thinks it could end up being a massive blink all in. Bunny, as it currently stands, can't actually see that observer, which is great. Means he can't even scan and pick it off. This bunker will end up going down, and we actually need to be a little bit careful with that blink. I don't want to lose too many Stalkers in that early engagement there. And it looks like one more of them is going to go down, but the second blink should allow the rest of them to get away. And situation currently resetting itself. And this observer here is going to be so pivotal in spotting absolutely everything that comes up from the Terran player later on in the game. Now, War Prism with 3 Zealots chilling out over here north of the main base of Bunny. Eiki's currently at 101 supply versus 96. When he spots that this army is out in the middle of the map, there's every chance that this War Prism just going to duck straight in. Needs to be awfully careful. And there is the scan. The scan is at the 3rd base location. Bunny's going, hang on a second, there's a 3rd base. I might be able to take this out. But here comes the War Prism in the meantime. Great Zealot warp in inside the main. 4 workers killed so far. A couple of Marauders are going to try and put an end to this. He'll have to kite them back though. But I think coupled with the Marines, it's going to be enough. The Zealots now target firing SCVs. And 9 workers currently killed, but we have a massive attack against the 3rd base. The Nexus is actually going to go down, so the Nexus gets sniped as well, as far as Bunny is concerned. That is a happy trade for him, because while he did lose 10 workers, that's frustrating. He didn't lose a command center, and he did force his opponent to lose a Nexus. So I don't think he can be too unhappy about that. 63 probes versus 48 SCVs plus double mule. Not the best position for the Terran to be in, but at the same time an okay position as well. He's going to be able just to drop the Mule Hammer at the 3rd base like you just saw. And build a lot more SCVs. Don't forget he's killed off the Nexus, so it is still 3 base versus 2. He'll be able to produce those SCVs very quickly indeed. Templar Archives now going down for our Protoss player. Going to be moving into Storm. Number of Colossi on the field at the moment, 3. And he's taking down his own destructible rocks in the Valley of Death, as we like to call it. Just the terrible choke point where if you get stuck against any opponent that has AoE damage, it's terrible. Imagine storms. Imagine Colossi attacking an army that's here. It's terrifying to think about. So not a situation any player really wants to find themselves in, regardless of what race they play. Some more Colossi coming out onto the field now. We're adding 2 more gateways there from Eiki. And we do have Psionic Storm on the way, so a lot of AoE damage being prepared. And, I mean, that's going to be really devastating against this army right now. We have no Vikings coming out on the field until now. But definitely no Ghosts at the moment. So Ghost Academy hasn't even been a thought so far. So we'll keep an eye on if and when those Ghosts end up coming onto the field. And in the meantime, well, we've got some High Templars out already. They're busy accruing their energy. And the ground armor level 1's about to complete as well, so that's nice. They'll be equal on upgrades at least for a little bit until the Terran +1 completes. But the tech and the AoE damage is going to make up for the deficiency in upgrades here. The fact that Storm is available, the fact that those sentries have a lot of energy and a lot of force fields, that's going to matter more than the upgrade advantage at the moment. And we have the infantry armor now completing. Here we go. A lot of Colossi popping out towards this watchtower, and I think Bunny's realized, hang on a second, I'm not 100% sure I can take this yet. Let me just threaten to go at his third. I'd love to see a drop loaded up and moved into the main base to see if he can get his army out of position and then attack the third. I think that would be great for Bunny right now. Does he have to do it? No. He's at 189 supply now versus 158. He doesn't want his opponent to get a death ball, but at the same time he's not doing too badly himself. The fourth base is now being taken from Eiki, and we've got the fourth being built now from Bunny next to his third. So not a lot of harassment going on in this game, has to be said. And here we go. A single High Templar getting picked off before the battle realistically even begins. A decent number of Vikings on the field here now. He's got 12 Vikings trying to pick apart these Colossi, but with the Photon Overcharge, he's finding it very difficult to break in. And both players are going to be resetting back to their status quo, I guess. We have 3 Zealots. 3 Zealots and a High Templar with Storm. Are we going to see a Storm against these SCVs? Oh, I'd love to. Yes, there is the Storm. A bunch of SCVs going down. The Zealots target firing the ones that were left on low health. He can probably move out, to be honest, with this High Templar so it doesn't die. But we have a big attack coming in at the natural expansion. Bunny's trying to push his point. Look at the numbers of Colossi here. He needs to try and kill off these Vikings ASAP. They're doing so much damage to the bio, but the Vikings are in such high numbers right now. Excellent Storms, though, killing most of the bio. Both sides are actually dealing heavy damage and don't have much in the way of ground army, but Bunny has a slightly larger ground army at the end of that. Another big warp in of Zealots, and now the Vikings are landing as well. It looks like Bunny has the upper hand in this game. It's 106 versus 79 supply. Very close, but the remaining standing army is firmly in our Terran's favor, and even though the supplies aren't that low for our Protoss, the army supply certainly is, because the Terran is currently approximately double. And, well, these Vikings are getting pretty low on health. It feels like a borderline situation between really difficult and okay for Eiki. But I think he's just coming off on the difficult end. I don't think he can stop this third from going down. And I think once moving towards the second base as well, it's going to be really difficult for him to hold anything else. Probes are being pulled at the third. The Nexus has gone down. Great kite coming over here from Bunny. A stim just for good measure. And so much of the infrastructure, so much of the worker count here, in addition to the army, is going down for Eiki that it's going to be so hard for him to recover. He's up to 78 supply versus 128 right now, so that's basically a 50 supply deficit. And Bunny is just continuously macroing up behind this. He's making 7 bio units at a time. An extra medevac. He's got +3 nearly done as well. So the follow-up attack is going to hurt even more, despite the fact that 2 of these Nexi have just gone down. So Bunny might look like eventually, this will get cleaned up, but the follow-up push is going to be so powerful. And what would be so great if I saw right now is for him to run away, but then also repair the medevacs as well. I'd love to see that. And right now, at least Bunny's doing the first part of that, and he's doing it extremely well indeed. So we'll see if he can keep that up. In the meantime, he's feeling confident enough now to go ahead and take the gold base. And, well, now that Eiki's lost so many units in that defense, I'm not sure he can really afford the army to go and attack that gold base. So perhaps that's the main idea behind Liquid Bunny's approach right now. Oh, this is tricky. This is very tricky. The gold base is now up and mining. It's actually becoming a planetary fortress just to make it a little bit safer. Here comes the follow-up army from Bunny. He's at 64 to 45 workers, an 80 versus 43 army supply. And this Colossus is so low in terms of hit points. We have got a small amount of units trying to pick apart the Nexus at the natural. Actually, they changed their mind. They want to go for a Colossus instead. Okay, they changed their mind. They want to drop on top of it instead. That's going to successfully work. The Nexus once again gets picked off at the third base, and Bunny can afford to take these small engagements all day long. Doing a fantastic job right now. And, well, a couple of the gateways look like they're going to go down in the main too. He's up to 135 supply versus 79. It's just such a difficult position at the moment to be in for our Protoss hero. And, well, this Archon I mean, he's fought a good fight, but I'm pretty sure he's going down now. There we go. And this drop gets taken out, but it's not going to be enough. GG, and Liquid Bunny wins game number 2 to force a decider in our second semi-final.